Akpabio's removal, false allegation as Natasha'S sexual harassment allegation is dropped. Leave the Senate. All right, my dear people, my people wey matter, the people that has been giving me the courage to move on with this very broadcast. I dey great una. I dey great una. Yes, so in this very broadcast, one boy, yes, one of the member of the Senate has defended Akpabio against um, Saraki's decision and opinion on um, Natasha'S sexual harassment allegation. Omoboy happened to be one of those very key figure standing in gap and in support of Akpabio. In fact, he is one of those people defending Akpabio and also speaking for his defense. I don't know what these men then see in Akpabio. Well, na men things, and you know how men things they be. These are the people that doesn't even want the female in the Senate to even have a bit gap ahead of them. I'm telling you. I'll be taking you in for you to listen to him and hear what he said and what he meant by what he said. Please give me your listening.
But the question is this, as they say, if there are allegations of this grave nature, don't you think that investigations should be opened and the ethics committee of the National Assembly, or to be very precise, the Nigerian Senate, should look into this matter, and rather than just probably tossing it aside and saying that these are apples and oranges, comparing the issue of Bukola Saraki as it then was when he was Senate President and the present Senate President, Godswill Akpabio.
Well, thank you so much for having me again. Remember last week I was here to clear the course as to what happened at the plenary between Senator Natasha and the Senate, not the Senate President. Because what transpired was a complete violation of our rules by Senator Natasha, and the Senate Chief Whip called her attention to that, and the Senate President, who is the Chief Law Officer of the Senate, how to enforce the rules of the Senate. So it's very important to keep the record straight. This matter started between Senator Natasha and the Nigerian Senate.
It has blown beyond that already.
I'm coming. Now, a few days back, we had another version of this story where the same person abandoned the fact in issue to talk about another thing. However, before I go in there, let me react to the submission of the former Senate President. With due respect to his office. He knows very well that the facts of the two cases are not the same. His case was a case of importation of official vehicle. This is a case of violation of the Senate rules, and the Committee on Ethics and Privileges have been set up in line with our rules to look into it. So there is no point relating the two because they are not the same, both the facts and figures. So that is that. Now, on the issue of sexual harassment as alleged by Senator Natasha, as God will have it, I am an eyewitness. And like I posted in the social media, I narrated what transpired. On that fateful day of 8 December 2023, I was among the senators that attended the birthday ceremony of the Senate President. Right from the Victor Atta Airport, I drove in the same vehicle with the said senator with her husband. In fact, I was in the front seat while the senator and her husband was at the back seat. We attended series of programs of the Senate President within Uyo town. At the end of the day, we moved to Träppéd, the hometown of the Senate President. I remember very well, as we were coming down from the vehicle, she was complaining of her shoe paining her, that made her and her husband to stay back, while I rushed inside the building to join other senators to inspect the building of the Senate President. I must tell you for free, and that is the truth, Senator Natasha never joined us inspecting the buildings of the Senate President. she was seated at the parlor with her husband. The Senate President took us to the chapel, and called those who are Catholic senators to join him in a holy mass. We celebrated the holy mass, and at the end of the day, ended up in her garden, and he hosted us. There was never a time the Senate President touched the Natasha. There was never a time the Senate President told Natasha, "Oh, you like my house? I will come back here to have a good time." That never happened. And Senator Natasha knows that very well. So it is disheartening and unbelievable for a senator of the Federal Republic to act of mere provocation simply because you were given a new seat and probably a committee was changed, to get up to lay a false allegation against a man that is old enough to be your father. Up till now, I'm still in shock because it's unbelievable.
All right, Mr. Wimboye,
And let me cap it up. From the house of the Senate President, I still drove in the same vehicle with Senator Natasha and the husband. I was still in the front seat to 4 Points Hotel, where we all lodged. The following morning, I was with the husband. We had a walk together within the hotel. He never told me of anything that the wife was harassed. Of course, it never happened. For crying out loud, it never happened. The Senate President never had a handshake with Natasha in his house, let alone toasting her. And think of it. How do you think a sane man will toast a married woman in the presence of over 20 senators, in the presence of her husband? Come on. This is unbelievable, actually.
My dear listeners, this is one of those things we are talking about. Corrupt leaders in corrupt environment. Please, this very senator, was he with Senator Natasha and Akpabio? Was he with them in that very chapel when Akpabio was taking her around? Was he with them? Can Natasha, all of a sudden just formulate the story that Akpabio was taking her around the chapel and extended a hand of friendship to her? My dear listeners, this is a pure conspiracy. You can see that it is even the Senate. It is even in the Senate that they have already started destroying the beauty of this very nation. If the members of the Senate can be protecting corruption, why won't Akpabio forge ahead to keep committing this very corruption? And besides, what are you trying to say? That Akpabio is old enough to be our father? Let me tell you, Akpabio has done this to so many women apart from Natasha. So what are you talking about? And besides, you are not there with them. You are not there with them. You are not there when Akpabio was taken around the chapel. You were there. The only time you were there was when Natasha was not there with you people. You said it that you are there with Akpabio, showing you people the chapel. Then Natasha was not with you people. But when Akpabio and Natasha was together, Akpabio took her around the chapel and was showing her the chapel. That was when all of these things happened. Were you there? And this that you just said now, did Akpabio deny it that he didn't show Akpabio and Natasha the chapel? See, these are the things we are talking about. Members of the Senate are the ones spoiling Akpabio, making him to feel superior and not to subject to the truth. Anyway, my dear listeners, let's keep watching. Get more.
I can name them.
It's clear that the point is you said you're an eyewitness, and that's completely fine. And like Aaron mentioned, even though it was a different context with Bukola Saraki, the fact that you witnessed this and you're saying that it didn't happen, then you should probably be at the forefront pushing for transparency to clear the name and the allegations as opposed to...
Of course, this allegation is not before the Senate. As far as I'm concerned, it's a hearsay.
Power or light? lighten off the movement.
Senator Natasha never, since 2023, where the alleged harassment happened, she never reported this to the Senate.
But why are you against the call that's being made by Bukola Saraki, if now you've confirmed that you witnessed it and there's nothing to hide?
Let me tell you something. We have rules in Senate. It's only when you present an issue at the plenary that Senate can set up a committee. Not on a hearsay. Bukola Saraki that's a personal opinion. He was a Senate president. He knows the rules of the Senate. He knows who can't act on hearsay. It is a hearsay. Senator Natasha never presented any issue before us.
Okay, based on your eyewitness experience and your experience, the place that you hold as the chief whip, yes, how would you advise that we see this matter through?
Let's carry the rules.
Go ahead. Let's know how this should be handled.
I can't say she knows what to do. Let her read the rules. I'm not her lawyer.
But if we were to draw a parallel between what happened with Senator Bukola Saraki,
yes,
then when he was Senate President,
yes,
I do not think the issue about what do you call it? The import duties concerning the vehicles, the SUV vehicles,
yes,
that was a bone of contention,
yes,
was presented before.
It was presented before, and it was assigned to a committee. It was presented by Senator. It came by word of motion.
Okay, if you have said that.
No, let me, you have to know our rules.
Okay.
It came by word of motion. But if you want the Senate to act on any issue, probably your privilege has been infringed, or you have a report to make, you come by word of motion. All the senators will hear it. It will be put to vote. If you find merit in your complaint, that is only when it will be referred to the Ethics and Privileges Committee.
But Senator Uweboye, now where I'm going to with this is,
yes,
already the Senate,
yes,
some are brandishing the Senate as very misogynistic.
It's not so.
So if that's not the case,
yes,
when allegations, yes, of sexual misconduct, yes, is being raised, yes, shouldn't it be taken with seriousness, rather than shoving it aside? Because she has set aside of the story. You were not there with them, yes, from the night into the morning.
I was there all through, and I left with her.
She could have returned back.
She didn't return back. Listen to her facts. She didn't return back.
It is a very clear move, and it is clear that this very senator is a real cabinet member of Akpabio. In fact, they dine and eat together. It has been said that Akpabio have people he actually dine with and people he actually does things with. No wonder. If you can see the way he is arguing this very matter. You can see the way he's trying to defend Akpabio. Look at what this media man was trying to say to him. You were not there. You were not there with them all through the day and the night. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You were not there with them. You were not there. You were okay. When Akpabio and Natasha were moving together, were you there moving along with them? Were you there like a monitoring spirit or like a monitoring mirror with them? At least, for crying out loud, at least there will be a time Akpabio tried to have a quiet time with Natasha, which maybe you may be busy with some other senators. You were not there with them all through. Are you a monitoring spirit or a monitoring mirror? That is the truth. My dear listeners, you can now see that the problem of this very sexual harassment issue with Akpabio is actually coming from the Senate. The Senate have refused to make Akpabio be subjective, be submissive. They have refused to handle this case with seriousness and caution. Instead, they are standing in gap and in support of Akpabio, and that is what is giving Akpabio the ego to keep doing what he's doing. Please help share this video. Let everyone have a hand on it and expose the truth to the public. Thank you.